Who knew that the opera could be so terrifying? Welcome to WWH, my name is Andrew Dreamer. We're continuing along with Universal Monster Month today, and we're close to wrapping up this series. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have as well. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and head over to Patreon to become a member of the WWH Universe. It would help the channel immensely and allow us to bring you the highest quality content. Also, go ahead and hit the like button and post a comment down below letting me know what movie you would like to see me review once we finish this series. With that out of the way, let's get to our operatic outing for today. We're looking at The Phantom of the Opera, released in 1943. This is not the first version of this story, nor the most well-known, but to me it's among the best. The first version was released in 1925 as a silent film. And it actually starred Lon Chaney Sr., who was a very prolific actor just like his son. Other versions include a TV miniseries and several films, one of which stars Robert Englund as the Phantom. The most well-known version, however, is the musical released in 2004 that abandons the horror aspects almost entirely in favor of the romance. But this channel is about horror, so we'll stick with the 1943 version. Our film was directed by Arthur Rubin and stars everyone's favorite invisible scientist, Caude Rains, as the titular character. Caude Rains is probably my favorite actor in the entire Universal Monsters franchise. To me, this film stands out more than the other ones, and there are a few reasons for that. One, this is the only one that was released in Technicolor. And two, this film is the only one where the monster is completely human. Although the same can probably be said for the Invisible Man, but I think it's a little different in that him becoming invisible made him less human to me. I hope that makes sense, but if not, we're just going to go with it anyway. A lot of these stories deal with people losing their humanity, but this one hits a little closer to home for me. Caude Rains' character had acid thrown on him, causing his face to be deformed. He ends up wearing a mask to hide and keep people from seeing him. He loses every bit of his humanity, and people view him as odd. And speaking as someone who was born with a deformity, I know what it feels like to be self-conscious and where people are going to think about you. So I can identify with this character in that regard. All of that makes this the most tragic story out of all the monsters, in my opinion. And now, it's time to head down to the ring to get this show started. The film opens in the midst of an operatic performance at the Paris Opera House, where Christine Dubois is a singer. She is watched by Inspector Raoul Dubert, who hopes to win her heart. Also vying for her love is famed opera singer Anatole Garon. Immediately following the performance, long-tenured violinist Eric Claudin is dismissed from the opera house after revealing he is losing feeling in some of his fingers. The conductor assumes he has enough money to support himself, but he actually has no money, having spent it all anonymously funding voice lessons for Christine, to whom he is devoted. Christine is pressured by Raoul to quit the opera and marry him, but she only considers him to be a friend, a sentiment that she also shares with Anatole. Desperate to earn money, Claudine submits a concerto he has written to be published. After not hearing anything for a while, he becomes worried and returns to ask about it. The publisher, a man named Pleyel, insults him and tells him to leave. Just before he leaves, he hears his music being played from another room and is convinced Pleyel is stealing his work.
Thief! You've stolen my music!
Unbeknownst to him, a visiting Franz Liszt has been playing and endorsing his concerto. Enraged, Claudine strangles Pleyel, killing him.
Thief! You've stolen my music!
Pleyel's assistant then throws etching acid in Claudine's face, permanently scarring him. Wanted for murder, he flees into the sewers of the opera house, where he covers his disfigurement with a stolen prop mask, completing his transformation into the Phantom. During the next performance at the Opera House, Claudine drugs a glass of wine, which singer Biancaroli drinks, knocking her unconscious. The director puts Christine in her place, and she blows the audience away with her skills. Biancaroli believes that Christine and Garon are responsible. She even orders Raoul to arrest them, but he says he can't because there is no evidence. Biancaroli says she will forget the whole thing if Christine is replaced and her performance is not mentioned in the newspapers. But the following night, she and her maid are both killed by the Phantom, causing the opera house to be closed down.
Take off that prop room mask.
Sometime later, the owners of the opera house receive a note from the Phantom. The note demands that Christine replace Biancaroli. Raoul comes up with the plan to not let Christine sing at the next performance. The goal is to lure the Phantom out and to have Liszt play Claudine's concerto after the show. The Phantom then strangles one of Raoul's men and ascends to the dome ceiling of the auditorium, where he brings down the huge chandelier, causing absolute chaos. As the audience and crew flee in terror, the Phantom takes Christine down into the sewers. This whole sequence just reminds me of something that The Undertaker would have done in the late 90s.
You're not one of the police.
Don't be frightened. I watch over you. I've always watched over you. Come.
He tells Christine that he loves her and that she will now sing as much as she wants, but only for him. Raoul and Garon begin pursuing them underground, and just as the Phantom and Christine arrive at his lair, they hear Liszt playing Claudine's concerto. The Phantom plays along with the melody on his own piano, in which Christine watches, realizing that it was written around a lullaby she has known since she was a child. Raoul and Garon hear the Phantom playing and follow the sound of the music. The Phantom, feeling joyous, urges Christine to sing, which she does. While the Phantom is distracted, Christine removes his mask, revealing his disfigured face. She looks on in horror, confirming every fear that Claudine had. Raoul and Garon enter the room, causing the Phantom to pick up a sword to fight them. Raoul fires his gun, but Garon accidentally bumps his arm, making the shot hit the ceiling and causing a cave-in. The two suitors escape with Christine while Claudine is seemingly crushed by the falling rocks. Later, they demand that Christine choose one of them to marry. She chooses neither of them, instead deciding to focus on her singing career, inspired by Claudine's devotion and belief in her ability. The men decide to go to dinner together, ending this film on a very light note. This film was a box office success and was even supposed to get a sequel with several characters returning, including Caude Rains. But due to story issues and availability concerns, this never happened. The film was completely reworked into the climax, which starred Susanna Foster, who played Christine in this film, and Boris Karloff, who was the original choice to play the Phantom. This film was also the only Universal monster movie to appear in Oscar races, being nominated 4 times and winning 2. My feelings for this movie are kind of mixed. I like it, but it's nothing extraordinary to me. Of course, we are going to get into all of the reasons why in just a moment, but first, we have to take a quick break. So stick around, and we'll be right back with more WWH action. If you're looking to save 20% off of your entire order from Redcon1.com, look no further, because I have a really good deal for you. Go to checkout at their website and use code AndrewDreamer, and you will receive 20% off of your entire order. That's right, use code AndrewDreamer to receive 20% off your entire order. So go check out their website, get some supplements, get some t-shirts, anything you could possibly want, they will have. That's right, code AndrewDreamer at checkout to save 20%. We are back now, and I don't want to waste any time, so let's head back down to the ring for the positives. My first positive is the performance by Caude Rains. Every time he's on the screen, he gives it his all. This is another performance where his face isn't seen for a big portion of the film, meaning that most of his emotion is conveyed solely through his voice, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. Also, I love the little nuances in the writing that make this story feel real. You can feel the pain of the Phantom. I mean, he was so close to achieving his goals and his dreams. Had he just waited one more day, everything would have been different. It was like a low blow because you see just how close he really was. But he turns heel just before it happens. Like I said before, To me, this is the most tragic story of all the monsters. The set design is amazing, and you can tell that they put their budget to good use in this area. There aren't a whole lot of special effects in this movie, but the effects that are present look really good. I also think that they did a fantastic job of building tension throughout this film. This is most prominent during the scene where the Phantom saws the chandelier, causing it to fall. Seriously, the tension here is amazing. You wonder when it will fall, if anyone will see him before it does, and if it will crush anyone when it falls. Now, let's switch sides and look at the negatives. Let's start with the fact that this film was released in color. That may sound weird, but I just prefer the black and white style with these old monster movies. I guess I can understand why they use Technicolor, but I just don't care for it here. Also, this is again preference, but I don't like opera music. It's just not my taste, and it kind of gets on my nerves throughout the film. If you like it, that's cool, I'm just not a fan. And we never really get a good reason as to why that Claudine is obsessed with Christine. There originally was a subplot where it was revealed that he's her father, but that idea was dropped. This was due to the nature of their interactions throughout the film, not wanting him to be that kind of creep, if you know what I mean. I'm glad that they dropped that, but I do think that they could have reworked it a bit to make it less gross. I don't know. I just want a reason. I just want a reason for him to be obsessed. I also have a hard time keeping track of some of these characters, though that one could just be me. I do think this movie is worth the watch. It's entertaining enough and has some really tense moments, as I mentioned, but to me, this definitely is the odd man out when it comes to the classic monsters. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it just makes it different. I love the story and the execution, so go check this one out if you haven't seen it before. But it is time to wrap up our show now. We've got one more review left in this series, and that is going to be The Invisible Man. I'm really looking forward to that rematch, and I hope you are as well. Also, my plan is to rank all of the Universal monsters that we've covered this year. I can't make any promises that it'll happen by the end of October, but I'm going to do my best to get it done. So keep an eye out for those videos when they're released. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and a comment down below with your thoughts on this film. Thank you for joining us today. There is plenty more WWH content coming very soon. But until then, my name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.